Okay, here we are.
Whoa,
We're with Mark.
we're doing it.
Dream Warriors, Day of Dread,
Day of Dread.
31 Days of Dread, Day 3. And tell us what we're talking about, Mark.
We're gonna do the Nightbreed.
Picking it up, and we're coming out.
That's
So
it.
yeah, these episodes
1990.
do not have the music either because we're targeting 25 to 30 minutes.
Is there like a theme?
Yeah,
Music?
yeah,
I didn't hear it yet.
it's Halloween-esque.
Oh,
So I'll play it out for you when we're done here.
do it live.
Yeah, doing it now.
All right, we'll do it live.
Yeah, so we're talking Nightbreed. A lot of horror aficionados, cult horror movie fans have locked in on this movie. They championed it. The days when I was in the comic shop, South Jersey Hall of Heroes, we referred to this movie as the X-Men for horror fans. Okay, because they were,
Freaks.
yeah, they were freaks. They couldn't walk out into the sunlight. They couldn't have friends. So anyway,
It's where the monsters live. Midian is where the monsters
Midian, yeah,
live.
which is a biblical reference. That's where Moses went for his 40-year exile. He went to. That's a little bit from memory, a little bit, but yeah, that's a Moses reference. All right, so who? Tell me who directed
So it was written and directed by the Clive Barker.
one of his 3 films that he wrote and directed.
He did Candyman.
He did Hellraiser, Nightbreed, and Lord of Illusions.
Oh,
Yeah.
not that he wrote the Candyman.
He wrote the Candyman, yeah. But if you, at this time, like we're talking mid 80s to late 90s, for 3 films, pretty well accomplished.
I don't really,
in my
I don't
opinion.
remember the Lord of Illusions. I remember Hellraiser quite a bit, and then I remember those sequels, and more of the imagery more than anything else.
Yeah. Well, before sequels got good, because we can kind of just agree sequels are good now. Hellraiser 2 was one of those sequels that I would just call out to people because they would always say Godfather 2 and Aliens and Terminator. They would just go for
You're
this,
like, wait a minute,
like these easy ones.
Hellraiser 2.
Yeah,
you jerk.
RoboCop 2.
No, that's bad.
Wait, I love really? I love RoboCop 2.
No.
With the drug dealer kid. Oh my god. And that hot girl, that's into the kid and also into Kane, the villain. Nuke, the drug.
Can't do it.
Wow, I don't understand. Even RoboCop 2 and RoboCop 2 is a hell of a design. One of the most sophisticated stop and go models ever created.
I don't know.
Is Kane RoboCop. But anyway, yeah. So Hellraiser Nightbreed is based on Clive Barker's 4th book, Cabal, published in '98. And have you read much of him?
It's 88.
Yeah, 1988. Yeah.
So only 2 years. This was only 2 years after.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
So, yeah, originally Nightbreed was to be called Cabal by Barker, but the studio, I think, just wanted to be able to do something simple, like market the movie.
Well, I think the weird thing is like
we're not calling it that.
this was a rental. This was my Caroline's video rental, like, of the week.
Okay,
Like I rented this all the time, and a couple things, like right off the bat, like when I started watching it. I knew at the time that like David Cronenberg was a director, but I didn't realize. I kind of knew who he was in the movie.
Yeah.
But it's very strange knowing David Cronenberg now, like understanding his movies and Naked Lunch and Crash. And,
Yeah.
Like
Crash.
not the
Rabbit.
not the Crash Oscar winner.
No,
the other
real Crash.
Yeah,
the real
that,
Crash.
Right.
Not yet. The we're going to smash up our cars and do a little dirty Crash.
Because it turns us on. So it was strange to me, and Cronenberg's coming from like a Lynch pull, like that's kind of that pull. So it was, I don't know if it was a favor or how that worked or how he's in it, but he is he doesn't have a name. Like I wish that his name was Decker, but that mask is nuts. That mask is so freaking scary.
Yeah,
because there's two
with the
He's
button
the
eyes.
villain. I mean, that's the thing is that he's technically the villain because he's trying to frame
Yeah, so like
Boone.
there's more of that in the book. Like
Okay.
in the book, it's more of him trying to implant these ideas in his head, so Boone would believe he was the killer, and so when the night we'll just call it the Nightbreed stuff starts happening around him in the book. There's a little bit more of a you don't know if it's suggested. You don't know if it's hallucinate. Like you don't really. There's almost like a dream state that runs throughout the book that I think some of the movie captured for sure.
Yeah.
But yes,
Well, he gets drugged. I think he goes in one time. I mean, to kind of just to go back to just do like a summary of the
Yeah.
movie. Essentially, this
Yeah,
guy's
just
like an
run.
iron worker. Him and his girlfriend want to get out
blue
of
collar.
town.
Yeah,
And
Bruce Springsteen song.
yeah, there's some song that she covers.
Jack and Diane, but that's
Yeah,
Bryan
she
Adams.
does
Sorry.
some. No, that's Mellencamp.
Oh, Mellencamp, right? Yeah,
Close enough.
I'm getting.
But like the director's cut, see, it's weird. Like they have a thing where there's a bunch of weird jumps. Like so now it actually makes more sense watching the director's cut because it's like he goes to work and then she's like, meet me home, and then like they're home and then he's like, we weren't here and you didn't come to see me, and it was like all these weird things. They had those scenes. She was a singer. She was a bad singer. And
Yeah.
they had a movie that she was singing this song, and it's all very Canadian. They even say like, we got to get out of Calgary, and I'm like, what? Like I don't know what Calgary is. I'm 12. You know, it's
Yeah.
come out in '90.
That's a made up place.
Yeah, so he's doing better at his job. Thinks he's not going crazy. The therapist, who's Decker, is killing families
Yeah,
and
Killing
framing
boys,
and
yeah.
basically framing his patient. So then when he calls back, says, I need to talk to you, he comes back in, and then he drugs him, and then ends up going to the hospital and then meeting someone who's talking about Midian, and then he ends up by a sacrifice kind of like cutting his face open. That was I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but
yeah.
that was like great. Like I was like, what
Yeah.
is going on? It was really scary, but
Well, and that's where it's kind of funny because it's a hell of a setup because you're afraid, like within the movie, you're afraid of the serial killer that is just well designed, creepy. You see him kill a family, and then it escalates to where he's not the freak. Like he's the like the serial killer guy is the normal one within the movie, just out of how the characters in the movie read him.
right.
Like they're not freaked out, but like no one in Median is freaked out by by David Cronenberg, by Decker.
Right, they're
Like,
not. They don't care at all.
Yeah,
like
and I think it's notes like that I don't know. I think that's one of the reasons why this movie's so fun and so unique, and it's so weird. It's such a weird movie. It's hard to tell people. Like I don't even know how you would describe this movie if you were to.
Well, I think they were trying to build a mythology because all the monsters are very specifically drawn. It was very much like X-Men in a way. Like one was burning out in the sunlight, and
Yeah.
the girlfriend goes there and puts her back, and then there was another one was all porcupine and shot porcupine like the whatever the spikes.
Yeah,
There was a moon face guy. There's a devil like looking guy who's
the
like
devil,
impervious.
the devil looking dude is
Pelican. He's the best.
Bat. Yeah, he's so bad.
So the voiceovers are really good. Now then, and at one point when he's confronted Boone, he's like, "You're fine. Like you're an innocent. You're meat. I can eat you." And she's like, you can't eat him in the grounds. You got to take him outside of the grounds. So there's rules
Right.
there. So the one guy tells him to leave the grounds so you can eat him, and you're going to break the law. There are all these made up laws. But what was interesting, he says this, and I wrote down, he's like, everything's true. Reminds me of the It's All True from Force Awakens. He's like, it's all true. Everything you heard is true. God's an astronaut. Oz is over the rainbow, and Midian is where the monsters live.
Yeah.
So that statement, you're like, oh. So they tried to create this mythology, and it could have definitely made more movies.
Yeah.
based on this stuff.
One of the things that gets thrown around a lot is that Nightbreed was supposed to have been a trilogy. Okay, but I think I don't know if people project. I don't know what was officially said about that, even from Barker. But I think people project. People are just in love with trilogies, and it's like everything's supposed to be like. I was listening to James Cameron talking to the Hollywood Reporter for 40 minutes about the upcoming Terminator trilogy, and it's almost like, can we just make one? Can we just kind of just do one good
don't.
one good Terminator movie. Not I don't care about your whiteboards of 3 movies. I want just one good Terminator movie. But even though I love Genesis,
No.
but but yeah. So okay. So real quick though, I wanted to, since this is a director's cut, I just wanted to veer off real quick and talk about other director's cut movies, because we brought this up before a few times, and I just wanted to run through. I know one of them you haven't seen, which is I think that the top director cut movie would be Kingdom of Heaven.
Is that Ridley Scott?
Yeah, it's Ridley Scott with Legolas. Legolas is.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
yeah,
I
and
think it's a blue tint.
I would put
Oh, I
the.
remember that.
Yeah,
It's like a slightly
It's great.
color graded blue tint.
I would also put the Lord of the Rings, all 3 of the extended cuts.
No.
Really?
I'll put
Two and 3 Towers and
I would say
King.
2 only. The one theatrical cut is a perfect cut. Theatrical cut of 1 is perfect.
Yeah, and there's so much. I like the.
And 3's too long as 3 anyway, so to add more shit into it.
But 3 so dude.
Just stop.
Dude, the Witch King breaking Gandalf's staff in a single like blow, in a single like summon spell.
I don't even. I think I watched
Yeah.
that once. I think I was just exhausted.
Dude, it's so good. It's so. But anyway, I would. So real quick, I definitely put my Watchmen, the Watchmen Ultimate Cut.
I've never. Is that the one where they put the cartoons in?
Yeah.
I never seen
Okay.
it.
Here we go. Might be controversial. Daredevil.
I've never seen the Coolio cut.
Because I love the court scenes. The court scenes add
with Coolio.
so much more with Matt Murdock's like alter ego. Like it builds him more into having another life versus just
Not
being
killing
Daredevil.
Jose Quesada.
Yeah, yeah, Jose Quesada.
Ben Victor.
Once Upon a Time in America. Okay.
I never saw it once.
Okay. I've only seen the director's cut. You might be with me on this. JFK.
I think I have seen that.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Most
think it's
people
just
have.
more.
Yeah. I kind of put Death Proof and Natural Born Killers, and it calls Death Proof when it's not in the grindhouse had, I'm pretty sure, one solid scene, but it had like extensions of a few others to fill out.
Yeah, it's a
to
bit,
fill out
it's
the
a bit
90
better.
minutes.
Yeah.
Natural Born Killers for sure.
I had that on cassette.
Yeah, double,
Double cassette.
yeah, with the flap. It was like the first one that had like a book flap.
Right.
That opened up. I never seen any version of Star Trek the motion picture other than director's cut. I realized that when I was kind of making this quick list.
Borsville.
Leon.
Yes,
Luke
arguably
Besson.
better.
And
You know why that was not in America?
No, tell me.
Because they have a scene where, like, I think they just have the scene where I think they're just playing, and she's in like a t-shirt and like underwear.
Oh.
And they just cut it out. They just thought it was it wasn't even really risque. It was just like questionable.
Yeah, we're
It was
just
like
going to.
They were just like goofing around.
Right. Yeah.
They were just like, yeah, this is too
This is-
too close
yeah.
to like Michael Jackson territory.
And my last one is also just one of my favorite movies overall. Would be Dune. The director's the real extended cut of Dune.
I've never seen
Which
that.
has the History Channel-esque opening narration, which are paintings, and they go through the history of everything leading into.
I'm watching the final cut, the Blade Runner final cut this week.
Okay.
Because the director's cut there is not even a director's cut. It's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrongly titled.
Well, we were kind of discussing a little bit about this too, where there's even to me the one cut I have not seen of Blade Runner is what they call the European cut, which was for European television, which has even scenes where they you see what he's eating in the beginning. Like you see, like people have it down to the exact shots that are different.
Do they have in any of the cuts? Is the European cut? Does that have narration or no?
I believe it does not. It does not have the narration.
First of all, Blade Runner,
I like the narration.
I like the narration because it feels like a noir.
It does. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah,
It's like
like it is what it is.
yeah.
Okay, so real quick though, just speeding on here. the two director's cuts I want to see that I haven't seen: Almost Famous and Superman 2, the Donner cut.
Okay, I've seen them both,
Yeah.
and I say no to both.
Yeah.
I say no to both.
Really? Okay. Because Almost Famous makes
Almost
a lot of
Famous
people's
one's
list.
a little bit longer. The only scene I think that works in Almost Famous includes Jimmy Fallon, which isn't in the first one. There's a cameo of Jimmy Fallon. In the
where
first
he's
one.
like not the agent, but the
No,
promotion.
Yeah,
guy.
but they have a longer scene, and he's in it a little bit longer, and it's not so good because he's not a good actor. But that scene's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
it's a good perspective. And there's a couple of scenes that are a little bit longer, but there's nothing too fantastic. What's that called? They call that bootleg? They call it bootleg or something like that.
I think it might be the bootleg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Donner Cut. This weird thing about Donner Cut is that they are so obsessed with having slightly alternate takes or audios that it distracts from scenes that could work.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah,
like,
so it's more technical.
They were just like, and I just don't know.
Yeah,
I don't like that one either.
All right. So getting back to Nightbreed, the one thing I want to know from you is, you're hanging out at the local mall, at the railing, maybe eating a slice, and
Pizza Zapoli from Pizza Zapoli.
Yeah. Authentic Italian pizza.
Hey Vanessa, get me no slice.
Yeah, and you're talking to your your middle school, your high school girlfriend. Okay, and
talking to my hand,
and you're like, hey, Pom.
Hey girl.
Yeah, hey Palmita.
Can I get another pepperoni?
How do you describe this movie to her? To get her back to your place for some makeout time.
I don't know. That's non-existent. But I would probably just go. I don't know.
I think we just called on some dark.
Yeah,
some darkness.
Some dark times at Deptford Mall.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably just you mean just like the elevator pitch? Just be like, all right, like we need, it's scary but not too scary. It's not that scary. The one thing I think it's interesting watching it is that it breaks into these weird POV shots like over and over. Whether like the Deckard, they have a couple scenes where it's his POV.
Yeah.
And then they have a scene later where the guy who's at the gas station who knows about Midian, who wanted to be in Midian,
right,
it goes to his POV.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene where Boone gets shot to death, and then he goes to the morgue, and then you're like the camera's on his chest, and you're
So
it's very Carpenter. It's very like Halloween.
I was gonna say, like, do you think some of that comes because like Clive Barker is he's not only a novelist but he's also a visual painter.
Yeah,
like
he drew a ton of designs. Like I've seen sketches of a lot of these characters.
He's supposedly storyboarded everything for all three of his movies. But I think that's the artist in him, that's deeply in him, that wants us to see things through multiple eyes, and he chooses like what eyes and when you see it from like that perspective, because that didn't. What you're talking about didn't really resonate until maybe like the fifth or sixth time I saw that movie.
Yeah,
I just really didn't pick up on it.
I don't think I noticed it when I was a kid, like when I watched it when I was 12. But yeah, I definitely noticed it as a 40-year-old.
Yeah,
because I feel that like the narrative, like I just understand the narrative structure and I understand the way the camera placement. So for example, like your favorite movie, Get Out, like the camera placement's always, I think, pretty pitch. Yes, you can agree with that. That's pretty solid. It's pretty solid directing. Really
I never said the movie wasn't well directed.
Okay, well then we'll move on.
Just had
to
go there.
I had to mess with you. Now I would say the score.
Oh yeah,
this score is Danny Elfman, but it's Danny Elfman pre.
Yeah,
right. It's pre like
what she's out of now too.
He's back out. Yes, he's back out.
Yeah,
he got. That's I wonder if that's just the Burton thing where Burton's like, you know what I would like, just sitting there like just all like. Yeah. I would like if maybe it's and he just starts breathing heavy, and they're like, yeah, do that, like more of this. Like I don't know.
But he did that for non-Burton movies though, like Men in Black, and there was other non-Burton.
But Sonnenfeld's very Burton-y. Like it's a very Burton thing.
But even the Simpsons theme is Elfman.
Yeah.
And it's Simpsons. Yeah, what do you know? Okay,
But it's good. Like it is good. That's a good score. This score's good.
yeah. The just real quick talking about Elfman because I did have a epiphany about him the other day. Because what do you do when you leave the gym?
You listen to Oingo Boingo.
You catch up on Danny Elfman soundtracks that you're not 100% familiar with, and my epiphany, wonderful time walking home because what I was listening to, is Real Steel, and how solid the themes in that are, and it is, I think it's one of his best. I mean, I kind of would say because I love Batman, like the '89 I would put Real Steel like right underneath that. Cause
I'm shocked that they didn't do I understand like Pacific Rim is getting a sequel because I think more of like fan base, but Real Steel has like the definite fan base.
Real Steel could just keep going. Like you could
even when it came out, everyone's like, all right, this movie should not be good. It's real good.
No, it was, dude,
like, and then like
Zeus. I love the design for Zeus, dude. He's such a
really good.
badass looking robot. Okay, so elevator pitch. We're still we're still trying to pitch this movie.
Like, it's a Canadian. He looks like David Boreanaz, who we don't know yet.
But
he's not David Boreanaz Angel.
He looks like Josh Brolin's ugly brother. No,
with a bigger hair, like his huge hair. And like the girlfriend's in a sweater all the time. It's just
for
very
the longest
90s.
time when I was younger, when I first rented this movie, I thought he was the older kid in Goonies that got older as an actor, and
you thought it was Josh Brolin.
I thought it was Josh Brolin. Yeah, but in my mind, I know it was Josh Brolin.
Like, looking at it now, I'm like, that's Angel. Is that Angel?
Yeah,
is that Bones?
is that Angel?
Because that is confusing. And he did nothing. I don't think he did any. No one did anything. Oh,
Yeah.
The weird thing about the director's, because I tried to read up on why the director's cut is there, and there's just different things that Barker wanted back in.
Yeah.
But one really strange choice was that Doug Bradley, who was the leader of Midian, he had like kind of weird cuts. He always has to have some type of facial manipulation, I suppose, as an actor. I don't know why. But like instead of having pins in his head, he had like these like slits in his face.
Right, that was
But he, like you were doing like, I don't know, but he had like a German accent in the original movie, and he overdubbed these himself to sound like a British guy and like a Welsh guy. And it's so obvious the overdub is terrible.
Well, here's the thing. So
I don't know what that's for.
the director's cut, the one that came out through Scream Factory, that's who did the what is now called the director's cut. Growing when we were younger, I would have to verify this, but I remember there being a director's cut when we were younger, which had hardly anything. It might have been like 5 or 6 minutes longer, like hardly anything. And then there was this other cut that exists that's between like the VHS director's cut and Dream Factory, which is called the everything cut.
Okay.
And it's everything like just put into just like continuity. Like it's just A to B and everything's just extra and plussed out. So and Scream Factory went between those two and I guess collaborated with Barker to get what he wanted from those two as the director's cut.
Yeah, it's funny, like I feel that even like, going back to episode 10 as the Star Wars argument, like
Always goes.
I always go back to episode 10, like, is it maybe the producers are right, maybe I'm wrong, like I don't know, like, I'm gonna say this, I know these movies aren't supposed to be made for me, but like I feel like sometimes when I see the director's cut, the producers were right, like it's just it's just like it's fine.
I 100% agree with you, but here's, I think sometimes there's it's almost like a Elseworlds or a What If. Like what if I think there's no director's cut. There's always like focal scenes in director's cut. We did like Rogue's cut for Days of Future Past, X-Men Days of Future Past, where the Rogue part stuff in that movie works within the movie, but it doesn't work within the flow. Like it doesn't flow within to the movie. It's almost like two separate schools of thought. It's like, hey, like this is stuff that works in the movie that we thought out. Here it is. And then it's like, here's the product we had to make because we have a deadline. and it's usually always the better horse wins that race. Yeah, I mean, I'll even say it. The Aliens, I used to love the director's cut, and then years went by, and I watched it, and I'm just like, oh God, Newt's family, bad idea.
Right.
Like the only thing I liked about that is the Sentry guns, the automatic
What
guns.
was the Abyss? The Abyss had the extra ending, and the anticipation of seeing that
Yeah.
was better than the movie. Then when I saw it, I'm like, all right, I got it. Like, I understand. But I was like, they did a tidal wave.
Right.
And then they stopped the tidal wave.
Yeah.
And then, like, oh my God. Like, it was like it was kind of like,
Yeah.
and that's what was, I guess that was one thing that I just don't know. I think that now this age is what it is. And then with Kathleen Kennedy at the wheel, you fucking bitch. Oh, you
Oh
fucker.
my God.
Oh, I'm so mad. I hate Kathleen Kennedy. Because I don't think I understand, like, she's so product-based and moving things in a certain direction.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that, like, Feige, I think, like, pulls back and lets a little bit of play. Like, I'm very curious. The Ragnarok's going to kind of show us what happens.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he gave Watiti, like, a good level of, like, freedom.
There's
And I'm a little weirded out by that. But it could, like, same thing with Guardians, too. Like, it's like, you let go of the wheel a little bit.
I think and I do. But here's a little bit of the difference, where what Marvel is doing, they're doing it with connected standalone movies. Mm-hmm. It's kind of that's easily just like you can describe that as the tone. So when you and I, like, we're going to go from original Star Wars to current, like, to 97. Like, 97, 98, when the special editions came out. Post special edition, what happened was you had this, web of novels, comic books, even action figure lines. If you go with Shadows of the Empire, and the video games, of how it was all connected. And that became the template for, like, almost like the product definition of what it was universally understood to why people love Star Wars. Because it's deep, it's connected. Everyone in most ISLE has a story. R5D4 or R5D5, the orange droid that was with R2D2, is a Force-enabled droid. Like, they went that deep on everything.
Right.
And so when they bought out everything from Lucas, they just continued it. Like, because there is a comic book now that reveals what happened with Phasm post trash compactor, like, whatever.
Need to fill that in.
Yeah. So, like, it's already there, it's already happening. Now here's the crazy thing, right? Everyone is buying in. They're buying in on, like, the deep threads within Star Wars, and they knew that was a part of, I think, the product DNA. When you're straight up just watching movies, it's a little. I would agree that it's a little bit more stressful watching a Star Wars movie versus a Marvel one. Because I was watching Doctor Strange the other day, and I'm just like, oh, dude, I don't care. Like, this movie's just fun. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care what it's connected to. I'm having fun just watching this. And Star Wars, it's almost like, what did I miss? What's that? What did I miss? Okay, over here. Whoa. No. And you're almost like a dog that's been beaten.
Right.
That every time someone moves, that dog's like,
I mean, I don't know what's better. Remember, like when we talked about Blade Runner a couple weeks ago, I was like, I don't want to watch Blade Runner. What the fuck do I watch? Like, there's too many versions. I don't want to watch anything.
Which one? Yeah.
Like, I don't want to, Brazil, I can't watch Brazil because there's like 8 cuts and I don't want to watch anything.
Brazil, yeah.
I don't know what to do.
You know how many times I've seen Suicide Squad here? Because when we're going through my Amazon collection, they see it's the different color of the movie, and everyone's like, I have to watch it to see if it's better. And I'm like, it's not, but I have to watch it.
I have to watch it.
And I'm just like, okay, just put it on.
It's just longer.
Just put it on.
In Nightbreed, to bring it back to
Star
Wars,
we got to wrap this up soon. We're right there.
The lead detective of, like, the investigation of the serial killer.
Yeah,
is a black guy. He's a detective. He's the same actor as Captain Panaka from Episode 1. Now,
is
Captain
it really?
Panaka,
if you remember, yes, okay, yes.
Says everything he says, and he's just as ineffective in this movie as he is in every movie he's ever been in. He's a character actor, and he's bad at his job.
Wasn't he? I was just watching The Scorpion King, and he's
I don't
The
think I've ever
Rock's
seen it.
brother in Scorpion King,
Oh my god!
and he's bad in that.
Everything he says
Yeah, he
in
is.
episode 1, he goes, "Oh, I don't agree with the Jedi on this one. I don't think this is a good idea. This is not a good course." He doesn't say a thing. I remember having a drinking game after watching episode 1 so many times. I'm like, we're gonna do a shot every time Captain Panaka says something shitty. Like, he's just not supportive, like, at all.
I'm looking this guy up right now.
Now the funny thing in this one is that, remember, he's like, "Hey, don't." He's like, "I'm going to go interrogate Boone." This is Decker, the shrink, and he's like, "Don't do that. Like, just don't do that." And he's like, "Oh, I'll be right back." He walks up to him and then turns around. Remember, he says, "He's got a gun," and then jumps out of the way, and they shoot him. So they shoot Boone, and they walk over, and they're like, "Where's the gun?" He's like, I thought I saw
I'm
a
sorry.
gun."
You know, I have my actors mixed up. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I know who this guy. He is bad. In
He's
episode
just as
one.
bad at his job in this, and like
Yeah.
throughout the movie, they're like, "Hey," and then he's like, "Well, he's dead." He's like, "Well, he's not dead. He's still alive." And he's like, "Well, we had him in custody." "Well, yeah, but we let him go. Like, he left." Like, it was every time they thought they had him, they didn't have him, and he's super bad.
Yeah.
So I give this one like a lot of good points. I think the cinematography is really good. Like, most of it takes place in like a day. You know, it's like it's basically one day.
Yeah.
The momentum's really good. The best actor in the movie is the creepy like gas station guy, like, who gets tortured by Decker. Like, that's the best.
Everyone for this movie they easily gravitate towards Cronenberg and Decker as him being perfect.
Well,
but then again,
he just talks because he just like, oh,
right.
He
I
talks
was,
like really monotone and low, and it's
it's almost the same as when in Basquiat, David Bowie plays Andy Warhol.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the best Warhol portrayal ever. Mm-hmm. But it's almost like David Bowie kind of did talk like Warhol. Like
right.
So he was just talking like this, and this is great, and yeah, let's do that again. And anyway, but yeah, so okay.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I give it like, do you rate? What are we doing the ratings?
We're just kind of
going through.
Yeah, we're just discussing it. But I mean,
great.
I would put this as a watch. Like I would think
watch.
people have to.
Watch Producer's
yeah,
Cut,
I mean,
I
wouldn't say people have to watch.
Watch it on find a VHS.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's on like I would say people have to watch the Bunnyman Massacre, but it's an important movie to discuss. So, and same with like Pumpkinhead. Mm-hmm. But I would say please watch Pumpkinhead. Please watch this movie. Start building your film vernacular with those two movies, and so when you watch something like the Bunnyman Massacre, you can apply something to it, and it helps you see a little bit more of the intent of a filmmaker, and you get to see a little bit more of the process of filmmaking.
Well, it's also in the hotness. Like, you got to remember, like, back then it was like there was a couple schools. It was Stephen King, Clive Barker, Dean Koontz. Like,
I grew up Barker side. I grew up that Barker was going to overtake horror, and I think if Barker never got sick, I really feel like things would be different now.
Did he die?
No, not dead. No, but he had I think he had a run of HIV. He had a run of something with his lungs. He had multiple surgeries.
He's Canadian.
Where there's
that doesn't help.
America's feather. Okay,
that doesn't help.
Any lace words for Nightbreed?
No, I'll say what is below shall remain below. And
we're pushing the limit here, but real quick, because we did this a little bit in our pregame, our green room discussion. Who did the initial Nightbreed comic book?
Oh, so Marvel's Epic line.
It was Epic.
Yeah, it ended up and it was like glossy, and it had a lot of good people. It had
well, I think Epic also had the Books of Blood, and
Hellraiser.
And Eclipse had Tapping the Vein. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And
which was at the con a lot. I saw that a lot this
dude,
weekend.
that's a hell of a drawn series, like the artwork for that.
It was all really good.
Yeah.
Painters.
And real quick, since we're talking Clive Barker and comic books, we have to give a shout out to Razor Line with Ecto Kid, with Steve Skrow drawing Ecto Kid, who is coming back.
Chops.
Yeah, who's coming back to comics.
Maestro.
Yeah.
It's Maestros? That's his book he's doing.
Yes, which looks phenomenal.
Does look really good.
Does look phenomenal. Okay.
Comes out next week, I think.
Yeah, signing off, right? Day
Yes, God's an
30
astronaut. Oz is over the rainbow, and Midian was where the monsters live.
This is Dream Warriors, 31 Days of Dread, Day 3. It's a wrap.